What's up, guys? Alvaro here, and welcome to the bilingual stock market channel again. Let's go ahead and talk about some stocks and about what happened today in the markets. And today we had yet again another red day across the board. Russell 2000 went down 1.29%, Nasdaq went down 1.56%, Dow Jones down 0.29%, and the S&P 500 went down 0.53%. The markets basically didn't like a couple of things that Vladimir Putin said today. First of all, he said that, and this is something absolutely unbelievable, he said he had the face of saying that they are fighting against the Nazis of Ukraine. And he also said the second thing that the markets didn't like is that the military operation that they are carrying out in Ukraine goes according to plan. So it looks like the markets are going to have to get accustomed to a prolonged conflict in Ukraine, and obviously that puts a lot of uncertainty on the table, and you guys know that the markets don't like uncertainty. Keep in mind, guys, that tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to get the jobs report of February. That is going to be a market mover. What we are waiting for is 230,000 new jobs having been created during the month of February. Keep in mind that yesterday we got the ADP payroll or the ADP report, which is pretty much a report that reflects the jobs that were created by the private industry, and that report came out very solid, guys, reflecting 475,000 new jobs created by the private industry in the month of February. So we can make the case that probably, this is my hunch, that the jobs report that we are going to get tomorrow is going to come out way better than expected. And in that case, if that were the case, then we can apply the logic of bad news or good news is bad news for the markets, obviously, because if that report happens to show, let's say, 500,000 new jobs created or 700,000 new jobs created, that is bad news inflation-wise. That implies that we have way more people working, we have way more people making money, we have way more people spending that money on food, gasoline, gassing up those cars. Oil is very expensive as of now. Actually, crude oil went down today a bit. Oil was due for some sort of pullback. Oil went down today 2.03%. However, guys, the most important metric tomorrow when it comes to the jobs report of February is going to be wage inflation. That is going to be absolutely critical. So I'm thinking that if tomorrow wage inflation happens to come out way hotter than expected, that might put more pressure over, by the way, tech stocks, which were the ones that lagged the most in today's trading session. All the big tech stocks, the Googles of the world, the Amazons of the world, the Apples of the world, the Microsofts, the Teslas, and so forth, went down a lot today. And aside from the tech sector, which is the most important sector of the markets, the financial sector also had a very tough day. And that's the reason, from a technical standpoint, that we had today a red day across the board. Today we had Jerome Powell testifying in front of the Senate. Yesterday he did it in front of the House. He didn't say anything new relative to what he said yesterday in front of the House. However, something that caught my eye is that he said today that the Federal Reserve is going to shrink its balance sheet in a predictable way. That is something that the markets liked, but since we had Vladimir Putin calling the Ukrainian army or the Ukrainian people Nazis, then we had another red day across the board. When it comes to these sectors of the markets, today we had a defensive day, guys. For the most part, the sectors that held up the best were defensives, guys. So we have utilities going up 1.76%, consumer staples going up 0.81%, and healthcare going up 0.51%. The most important sector of the markets, Tech went down today 1.19%, and the financial sector went down today 0.32%. The 10-year Treasury yield went down 1.50%. And as I just said, guys, when we had in days in which we have these two very important sectors going down, the most likely outcome is going to be having a red day across the board when it comes to the indices. The worst performing sector today was consumer discretionary. It went down a lot, guys, 2.26%, thanks to Tesla and Amazon, which are the most important stocks inside this sector. And when it comes to the advances and declines distribution, we can confirm that we had a negative day today, with only 2,776 stocks going up and 4,720 stocks going down. Before going over the indices, I want to show you guys the only trade that I closed in today's trading session. This was a swing trade that I started a few days ago on February 14. So I made, on Ethereum, I made 7 different purchases, investing a total amount of $8,800. And I decided to close this position today because Bitcoin was retracing a bit and ETH was also pulling back. So I decided to lock in some profit and play it safe. And I was paid $9,198. I ended up making over here something like $290. And when it comes to the S&P 500, what is going up? What is going on over here? The S&P, and as I just said in the introduction of this video, went down today 0.53%, and it closed today's trading session at 4,363 points. And as we have discussed before over here, the bears are in absolute control of the S&P 500, period, full stop. We have a clear downtrend. The S&P is trading below the moving averages, and the bulls fell today right at the 50 SMA and the 4-hour chart at 4,400. However, the bears need to take on 4330 as soon as possible. 4330 happens to be a former area of support back from mid-October. And why am I saying that? Well, because if the bears fail on taking on 4330, then they are going to allow the bulls to gather momentum to consolidate slightly above an important lower pivot. And if that were the case, the bulls are going to be able, in my opinion, to make another push higher to, first of all, take on this 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart at 4,400. And after doing that, they might also be able to fill the very important other gap up to the 200-day moving average at 4,462. So I'm thinking that for the bears, in order to let the S&P 500, or in order to bring the S&P 500 even lower, or take the S&P 500 even lower, they need to take on 4330, in which case we have another huge leg down, guys, down to 4222. We are talking about a former area of support back from mid-February and also back from late January. If we take a look at the RSI of the S&P, it is at 50 points. That implies that the S&P is neither oversold nor overbought, and that also implies that the S&P can go either way, up or down. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ 100. And in the case of the NASDAQ 100, we find a similar picture in technical terms relative to the S&P 500. The bulls failed today at the 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart at 14,250 points. So, in my opinion, the bears need to take on as soon as possible, in the case of the NDX, 13,900 points. 13,900 points already acted as lower support on March 1st, and it also did it on 2 occasions back in late January. If the bears were able to take on this lower pivot, then we have a very scary leg down over here for the bulls, guys, down to 13,738 points, which already acted as lower support back on January 21st. And if the bears fail on taking on 13,927 points, they are going, and this is for the most part the same example or the same case that I just made in the case of the S&P 500, they are going to allow the bulls of the NDX to gather momentum in order to make another push higher and potentially being able to take on 14,400 points, which happens to be a former area of support back from early October and also a previous area of resistance back from mid-June. So 14,400 points is going to be the most immediate task for the bulls of the Nasdaq 100. And in the case of the Burst, I need to take on 13,900 points. RSI of the NDX 46 points. That implies, and as I just said in the case of the S&P, that the Nasdaq 100 is neither oversold nor overbought. And that also implies that the NDX can go either way, up or down. And now let's go ahead and take a look at Costco, which is reporting earnings today. Let's see what is going on over here. And Costco seems to be down after hours. Am I right? Yeah, it is down after hours. I mean, what stocks go up after having reported earnings nowadays, guys? So Costco, it isn't down much. It is down almost 2%. So what is going on over here in the case of Costco? EPS came in at $2.92, beating the estimate of $2.73. Sales came in at $51.90 billion, beating the estimate of $51.37 billion. E-commerce company sales up 12.50%. That's very good. Net sales for quarter increased 16.10%. Very good. Net sales for the first 24 weeks increased 16.4%. Oh my God, inflation over here, guys. No doubt about it. Oh man. Okay, Costco wholesale shares are trading lower after the company reported, Q2 earnings results. Okay, earnings highlights, revenue and EPS beat, store sales up 12.6%, and early February numbers. Very solid earnings report of Costco. I am interested, guys, in taking a deeper look to the conference call of this company because I think that the word inflation was probably pronounced on several occasions. I am curious about that. So Costco went up today during regular trading hours 0.96%, and it closed today's trading session at $533.05. And after hours, the stock of this company is trading at $525. So, guys, since most of the stocks that have already posted earnings have dropped after having do so, tomorrow I think that Costco isn't going to be the exception to the rule. And take a look at how $515 happens to coincide with the 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. $515 is also a previous area of support back from early December and also a previous area of resistance back from early November. So I'm thinking, guys, that Costco is going to find a bunch of buyers near $515 because at the end of the day, this earnings report was very solid. So if I happen to confirm support over this area, and if Costco happens to bounce back up and fills the next gap up to $534, we are talking about a former area of resistance back from early February and also a former area of support back from mid-December. I would be able, guys, to take a 4% profit. Very nice trade in the case of Costco if we happen to buy some shares at $515. The RSI is at 56 points. Very healthy from a technical standpoint. So Costco, I am going to be waiting for you tomorrow near $515. And the second stock of this video is going to be Marvell Technology, which is another stock that reported earnings today. Where is Marvell Technology at? Let me see. There you go. Here it is. So Marvell Technology, the stock of this company seems to be down after hours. What stocks go up after having reported earnings nowadays, guys? So Marvell went down today 3.65%, and it closed today's trading session at $65.20. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 1-day, 1-minute chart. And the stock of this company is slightly up after hours, almost 2%. So if they are up 2%, I guess that they killed it, right? With the markets that we are dealing with as of now. Okay, EPS. This is guidance. Okay, EPS came in at 50 cents, beating the estimate of 48 cents, and sales came in at $1.34 billion, beating the estimate of $1.32 billion. So they beat bottom and top line when it comes to EPS and sales. Okay, guidance. So adjusted EPS for Q1 is being seen by this company between 48 cents up to 54 cents versus 50 cents estimate. So they are beating on guidance when it comes to EPS for Q1 of this year. And net sales should be at around $1.42 billion versus $1.38 billion estimate. Very solid earnings report, guys. They beat across the board. Sales, EPS, and also sales and EPS when it comes to future guidance. So what could be potentially happening over here when it comes to Marvel? Very solid earnings report. Again, as I just said, the stock of this company is trading after hours at $67. And the bulls have to keep as lower support. They need to hold as lower support $66, guys. This is an area that coincides with the 200-day moving average. In my case, I would like to take a breakout trade over here, guys. $69 has been an area of resistance in which the bulls of Marvel have failed on 3 occasions recently, and this is also a previous area of resistance back from late October. So I'm thinking that if the bulls can take on $68 on good volume and momentum, this area, $68 or $69-ish, they might be able, and taking into account that this company just posted a very solid earnings report, which, for the markets, that the markets don't care much nowadays when it comes to solid earnings report, but let's say that Marvel tomorrow happens to be the exception to the rule. So if the bulls can take on $69, they might be able to fill the next gap up to the 100-day moving average at $75. So from $69 up to $75, we are looking at an 8% profit trade. So Marvel Technology is, no doubt about it, going to be tomorrow on the very top of my personal watch list. And now let's go ahead and take a look at NIO. What a disaster over here. You guys know that I have skin in this game. I am a long-term investor in NIO. NIO goes down today 8.68%, and it closed today's trading session at $19.88. And for the most part, guys, most of the EV-related stocks had a very tough day today. I heard an analyst saying that maybe the supply chain issues that most of the auto manufacturers are dealing with as of now are going to get worse because of the conflict in Ukraine. In the case of NIO, keep in mind that this Chinese company is going to be listed in Hong Kong on March 10th. No new shares are going to be issued, okay? No worries about that. So NIO shareholders aren't going to be diluted because this is going to be a listing by introduction. However, I am getting a lot of questions over here because most of you guys know that I am a long-term investor in NIO. And many of you guys have been asking me about where's the bottom for NIO? What's the next support? And since I am, or let's say apart from the fact that I am a long-term investor in NIO, I am also taking trades, short-term trades with NIO when the opportunity shows up. So I'm thinking, guys, that if NIO keeps on dropping, the stock of this company is very likely to come across with buyers at $16. $16 happens to be a former area of support back from mid-September of, get this, guys, 2020. And also a previous area of resistance back from July of 2020. So if NIO happens to pay a quick visit down to $16, and mind you, the stock of this company is already very oversold, that is going to obviously increase the likelihood for the bulls of NIO to find support at a previous area of support and resistance back from 2020, and then the bulls of NIO might be able to bounce back up. So from $16 up to $21, which happens to be a previous area of support back from October of 2020 as well, we are looking, guys, over here at a trade that would leave us a, get this, 20% profit. So I am waiting for NIO at $16. This is my price, guys. And mind you, my average cost when it comes to my long-term position is around $12. So if NIO falls down to $16, my long-term position is still going to be out of danger. And $16 is going to be a price in which I am going to be very likely to start another short-term trade. In the case of NIO, the last stock of this video is going to be Meta Platforms, Facebook. Facebook went down today 2.47%, and it closed today's trading session at $202.97. I am going to zoom in here on the 4-hour chart. And mind you, guys, obviously, there is no secret over here. This is a nasty chart, a very ugly looking chart. a technical downtrend. Facebook is trading as of now. Let me see how of the highs. Facebook is trading 47% of the highs below the moving averages. This is a complete disaster. However, I think that Facebook is starting to work on a bottom. I think that this company might be bottoming out if nothing horrible happens with the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. $201 has acted as lower support on 1, 2, 3, and 4 occasions lately. So if I keep on seeing a process of consolidation on Facebook slightly above $200, I am very likely to start a position over here, guys, because I'm thinking that from $200 or $201 up to the next important area of resistance for Facebook at $207, I could be taking a quick trade that would leave me a 4% profit. $207 is an area of resistance in which Facebook has felt on 1, 2, 3, and 4 occasions recently. The RSI of Facebook is at 41 points. So we can make the case that Facebook is neither oversold nor overbought. And mind you guys, if I happen to start this trade, I am going to be placing a very tight stop loss at around $200, because if we happen to see another bloodbath, as I just said, in the case of the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq 100, if the S&P happens to break to the downside 4,222 points, if the Nasdaq 100 happens to break to the downside 13,900 points, then Facebook is very likely to break the support of $200 and then maybe pay a visit down to $189, a price, an area in which the stock of this company has found support on 2 occasions recently. Maybe $189 might be another area of interest in order to start a position on Facebook, despite the fact that we have a very ugly looking chart over here. And with Facebook or Meta platforms, I am going to wrap up this video. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for hanging out with me once again. Remember and keep in mind, guys, that here on the Bilingual Stock Market channel, we are posting stock market update videos Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays as well, 3 or 4 hours after the market closes. So if you want to get all of the notifications of all of our videos in a timely manner, you have to be subscribed to this YouTube channel, but you also need to activate the notification bell right up there. Follow us on Instagram as well, guys, at Bilingual Stock Market. And remember that this is the Bilingual Stock Market channel, the YouTube channel, in which we talk about the markets, but we do things differently because we talk about the markets in 2 different languages, English and Spanish, so you can pick your preferred language. But most importantly, this is the YouTube channel in which we know that the wonderful world of Wall Street is not for geniuses, it is for entrepreneurs, just like you guys and myself. My name is Alvaro, and I will see you guys on Monday, next Monday, 3 or 4 hours after the market closes. Peace out, and you guys have a very nice weekend. Bye.